LaVar, start us off. Did the NFL get this right?
Oh, I think they largely in part got it right.
Largely in part?
Largely. I think
largely in part.
I think it would have totally been correct if Mason Rudolph is on the suspension list. I really do. I think that may be the only miss. Well, it's interesting because when you look at, and I had conversations with some league officials and sources close to what took place. The three terms that are being used is choices, intent, and action. All right, now it's not clear to be able to establish the intent of Mason Rudolph and the entire deal. Early on in the play, when he gets tackled, when he gets almost sacked, you can look at it and say there could be a finable offense for him grabbing on to Myles Garrett's helmet. It could be it's a finable offense for Myles to grab his helmet off of him. But now you're leaving the realm of fines, and now you're getting into the realm of suspensions. That suspension took place when Mason Rudolph ran up on Myles Garrett and put his hands on Myles Garrett, and then Garrett made the choice that established true intent of malice, and that's when he hit him with the helmet. So to me, even though it's not clear as to what his intent was, Mason Rudolph's intent running up on Myles Garrett at that moment, I think that largely in part with his role in what took place, he should have been on that suspensions list.
Tugged at a guy's helmet, suspending. He tugged, a quarterback tugged at a defensive lineman's helmet, and we're going to suspend him. Let's be real.
Again, all right, we can say.
Let me say this. It was yesterday, earlier this week. You walked us through how you put a guy out of a game.
That's correct.
You grab him, you lock up his arms,
That's correct.
and you fling him, bounce his head off,
the
ground. I didn't say it's illegal. Okay. That's how you put a guy out of a game. That's what Myles Garrett did to Mason Rudolph. He locked up his arm. It was textbook. It was like you were talked about the play earlier in the week, and Myles Garrett was watching and said, I'm going to do it. Mason Rudolph has already been in the concussion protocol this year. This dude just bounced his head off, and he's supposed to have no reaction?
Well, let's revisit that, okay? So, in the first place, the play was called with 14 seconds left in the game. 14 seconds left, and you're losing by 2 touchdowns in this game. Why call a play where you release the defensive end to come
Tomlin's fault. He should be suspended.
I'm not saying whose fault it is. I'm saying I'm merely giving you the factual information here. Why call a running back screenplay with 14 seconds left on the clock? Secondly, let's go back to intent. If you take a look at this picture here, now we're trying to establish, is there malice involved, or are you just going at it to go at it? If you look at Mason Rudolph's face right here, while he's about to get hit by Myles Garrett, that is not a look of oh, why did you mess with my helmet? Why did you tackle me so late? Why did you roll me to the ground and lock my arms up? That is a look of, that's fight. He's looking for confrontation.
And so that green lights this dude to club him.
No, it doesn't green light him to do that, but he should be a part of
the NFL get it right, TJ?
The NFL got it right. The only thing that I don't agree with is I don't believe Maurkice Pouncey should have been suspended 3 games, maybe 1 or 2. I would probably say 2 because you don't want him to play when they play the Browns the next game. Just know him out. He's a dog, and so you don't want him on the field for that second game. I get that part. So hopefully he appeals. They take 1 game off, and he's suspended 2 games. But for the most part, I believe Mason Rudolph started it. Don't tug at my helmet, and then when I get tough back with you, you play the victim. Period. He shouldn't have swung and hit him. I'm not going to argue that was dumb. Like, flat out, that was stupid. Why would you swing a helmet at somebody without a helmet?
Well, you just said he tugged it.
Why are we using tug? He grabbed his helmet.
This
is the thing, no.
He tugged his helmet.
You're a defensive player. This is an emotional game, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're emotional.
8 seconds left, up 2 touchdowns. The game's over.
The emotion was gone. But when you tug at my helmet, come on, Mason Rudolph knows good dang well he was tugging at his helmet. So when I take your helmet off, don't be surprised.
TJ.
You initiated it.
Just answer me this.
Yes.
And then we'll move on to Brady here.
Yes.
Answer me this. When Myles Garrett, delivery sack, the ball's gone, he twirls him,
What's
bounces.
this
Okay, wait.
sack?
Hey, Jake, when you
grabbed him.
When you watch
That's a perfectly legal play.
Who hit the ground first, Myles Garrett or Mason Rudolph when he
I know whose head hit the ground.
No, Myles Garrett landed on his back. Mason Rudolph was on top of him, and he rolled him over. That's so.
With his arms on his
That's the provocation.
Myles Garrett hits the ground first. Mason Rudolph is on top of him. Myles Garrett rolls him over, and he starts to pull out the helmet. Now, everything after that, Myles Garrett is wrong. I probably would take your helmet off. I'm not swinging it at you. That was idiotic. But to answer your question, I don't think Maurkice Pouncey should have been suspended 3 games.
No reason to take this guy.
Go ahead, Brady. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, in my view, the NFL, Roger Goodell, in the context of football, got it right. But what Myles Garrett did was not a football move. It was completely outside of football, and that's because the helmet came off. And so in that case, we got to go criminal here. Full atomic criminal with Myles Garrett. Because, you've been there in fights and practice. We all keep our helmets on usually, and everybody, what are we doing? We're punching each other in the face mask and in the helmet because we know very well we're sending more of a message of a boundary than trying to inflict pain onto somebody that can be potentially damaging and ultimately maybe life-threatening. I don't know. We're messing with the head here. But as soon as the helmet comes off and it's being swung, and I've been there. I've been in a fight in practice with a big old sloppy offensive lineman, 6'6", 300 pounds, and ripped my helmet off and blasted me on the head, just like Myles Garrett did to Mason Rudolph there. Hit me with the crown, by the way.
And what'd you do?
Luckily, well, what I did was...
But you say it's criminal, though, but you didn't do nothing when it happened to you.
Well, I didn't do anything
Don't make no sense.
because I haven't had time to retrospectively look at it until this came up, and I'm like, you know what? That's criminal, man. Because the bottom line is this stuff's going to keep happening, especially in the AFC where there's a lot of emotion. It's a physical style.
That won't happen again.
AFC North?
That won't happen.
Well, let's hope not.
That won't happen again.
Well, they said that last time Perfect did his little deal. Where the whole
hitting guys, like when guys get hit, in your Whitlock, you talk about the Deontay, I believe his last name is Johnson, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was a little dirty. But the hit with Juju, I thought that was incidental. Guy hit Juju, Juju's helmet hit another guy. I thought that was more incidental than Demarius Randall hitting Deontay Johnson more so than anything. Now, you say, if that happened, how can you say it's criminal intent when you are involved in something like that in practice where emotions are not as high? There's no way.
The whole premise and the whole root of where this took place is Mason Rudolph being embarrassed. We talked about will Baker Mayfield be embarrassed in this game on the show yesterday. You want to know why he acted out and incited the whole melee and criminal acts to take place? Because he was embarrassed. Mason Rudolph had a horrible game. Threw 1 touchdown, meaningless, really. You're still trying to score with 14 seconds left in that game. You want to try to make this game 14-21. He gets hit. He's butthurt that he has not had a good game against the Cleveland Browns. He's working for his job, and he's embarrassed.
LaVar.
That's where all of this came from.
No, that's not where all of it came from.
Oh, that's the root.
That's where a part of it came from.
That's the root.
No. That's where a part of it. Again, we can't sit here and act like Myles Garrett has no history. We've already seen it this year. He's been flagged for illegal hits on quarterbacks all year. His reputation precedes him. It starts with Myles Garrett. Now, was this kid embarrassed? Absolutely. Was he frustrated? Did he react in that moment out of embarrassment and frustration? Yes. It starts with Myles Garrett. Let's quit playing a game here. Myles Garrett, and again, I've been on the phone talking to people. He's one of these kids that doesn't fit in. A little too goofy for the brothers. And to me, what Myles Garrett has been doing all year is trying to get his street cred. He's been over the top. He's punched Delaney Walker. He illegal hit on Trevian Simmons and ended his career.
But this
tonight, 15 seconds left in the game, you know damn well the Steelers going to run some stupid play. It's been done a million times in the NFL at the end of 2-score and 3-score games.
He played the play.
There's a lot of defensive linemen that get penalties.
They ran a play. He played the play. He made a perfectly legal play. There's nothing wrong with that. Fine schedule. He's on a fine schedule, maybe. Mm-hmm. Mason, maybe, on a fine schedule. Where the whole thing escalated, right?
What started
He's removed from the entire situation by DeCastro and what's Buddy's name? Filer. Filer and DeCastro, more so DeCastro, removes him from the situation with the helmet in his hand. By him jumping up, Mason Rudolph, and charging the dude and grabbing him on the head takes away.
Grabbing him on the head. He jumped up
No,
and
he grabbed him. He grabbed him before Myles Garrett went upside his head. That takes away criminal act. You can be perceived as attacking him in that moment.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.